Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Crown and today we are going to have some more stories that I hope that you will enjoy. But before we start, it would be so much appreciated if you would subscribe to the channel, like the video if you enjoyed it, and maybe leave a comment down below. These simple clicks would mean a lot to the future of this channel and really reward the effort that I put in every day. And now, without further ado, let's go! The story needs a bit of a backstory to help it along. Everyone got their popcorn? Great, let's go! Where I live, most, if not all, public buildings have strict policies in place that everyone entering be scent-free. This means a strict rule against all perfumes and scented products. This span goes all the way back to the 90s when we had a sharp increase in environmental illness. Now, because we tend to be very kind here and conscious of our fellow humans, few objects, and today is just an accepted part of life. Backstory over. This all took place back in the late 90s when I was working in promotions. Our office was small with a staff of about 20 people, so we were all close-knit friends. Now, because we had people in the office who were triggered by scents due to asthma, including yours truly, we unanimously voted to adopt the no scents policy. We dutifully made signs for the door and scattered a few around the office for newbies and guests and went about our merry way. No problems, right? Oh, how wrong we were. Into our happily buzzing beehive came a new hire. Karen is overused these days, so let's call her Betty. Betty was in her 20s, like the rest of us. However, unlike the rest of us, she seemed to lack both the ability to learn and the ability to accept that office rules applied to her too. Betty ignored a sign on a door, the posters on the walls, and apparently the manager when she was told about our scent-free rule. Her first day, Betty breezed into the office, doused in a wild assortment of conflicting fragrances. Charlie argued with a Chanel while Chanel seemed to be at war with sunflowers. To put it bluntly, Betty stank. Even worse, one of the more fragile ladies was thrown into an immediate asthma attack. Let's call her Lucy. Some of us hurried to help Lucy while others gently explained to Betty that she can't wear perfume. A dim light appeared in Betty's eyes and she agreed to go wash it off. Lucy was able to get her breathing under control enough to go to the ER without calling 911. They gave her treatment and she was back at work the next day. So was Betty, who returned absolutely soaked in scents. Lucy was thrown into another attack, and this one needed 911. She was carted off to the hospital for more treatment. Betty, we told you yesterday that you can't wear perfume in the office. It isn't perfume, it's body lotion. Well, you can't wear that either. Day 3 of the reign of Betty. Lucy was still out sick, which turned out to be a good thing because Betty arrived coated with perfume again. Our manager stopped her and sternly told her about office rules and having to follow them. But it isn't perfume or lotion. It's hairsprays. The bossman sighed and shook his head. Betty, it doesn't matter what the product is. If it smells good, do not wear it. You could have killed Lucy. Betty was sent home for the day. She must have decided promotions weren't for her because she never returned. Lucy recovered, then returned several days ago. And we did not miss Betty. This happened some years ago in my first year at college. I was just returning to college after a winter break and was traveling from the airport at night to my campus at the other side of the city. So I needed to change a couple subway lines and buses. What I had with me were a big suitcase, my backpack, and a notebook carrying case. I got off of the subway and started looking for the elevator so I don't have to use the escalators with all my stuff and cause any problems. I found the elevator and it just closed its doors and a couple people were already in line waiting. I got in line to wait and a Karen arrived and she started pushing people aside and tried to cut to the front. As Karen did not look nearly older than 40, was trying to get past me, I turned to her and said, "Ma'am, where do you think you're going? You need to get in line to use the elevator as all these people have been waiting to use it just like you." She opens her eyes wide and makes a disgusted face to me and says,
Don't you people read?
Pointing to a sign that reads, "Please give priority to the elderly and disabled," or something very close to that. I am normally a very nice and polite guy, but I was so exhausted and couldn't deal with her. So I said, "Oh, sorry. Which are you? The elderly or disabled?" And Karen is triggered. She started shaking with rage and shouted,
You're just a rude, ignorant brat. I'm older than you. You will treat me with respect.
I smiled and said, "You are older than me, but you are not elderly. Plus, you talk about respect, but you pushed aside a mother with a stroller and a man in a wheelchair." She did. Where is your respect to all these people you cut in front of? She held out her arms in her fur coat. Enough for being a jerk of a person. And she tried hitting me with a bag of hers. I stepped out of her way and she actually hit another lady. At that point, other people started vocally supporting me, and apparently someone called the security guard, so the guard came out of nowhere and people started pointing at Karen, so he asked Karen to follow him. Karen turned the craziness to 11 and started cursing everyone, starting with the guard and me. The guard did not lose any time, and he called back up as he tried to hold her, but she tried to run away in heels. It was actually hilarious. More guards arrived and dragged her since the other lady had her lips split open and wanted to press charges. I was asked to follow them as well. We took some other elevator up, the police are called, and they talked with everyone and I told them what happened. And the other lady told them what happened as well. In the end, Karen was taken to the police station with the other lady to press charges. Have a nice day, people. Alright, this happened when I was 14. I was volunteering at a baseball camp run by an MLB team in my state, the coaches of which I was one wore jerseys that admittedly look almost exactly like the ones the real team wears, even down to the fabric and baseball pants with belts and everything that makes us look like actual members of the team. The camp lasts for 5 days. For 4 we are at a minor league stadium in the host county, and for 1 we traveled to the MLB stadium for a tour and to meet a player. We went to the team's ballpark and were unloading the buses. I was stuck with the youngest kids ages 4 to 6. A mother and her son, I'd say age 6, came up to me. She asks,
What is this?
"Oh, this is a baseball academy. The ex-MLB team is running."
Well, why are you here and not practicing?
"Well, ma'am, part of the camp is to let the kids have a tour of X Stadium and meet a member of the X team."
No, I don't think so. I think these children are the kids of X team players. I want you to take my child with you and let him meet his favorite X player. Now, which of these ingrates is that player's kid? You will introduce my child to them so he can meet them.
"Miss, I can't do that. As this is a baseball camp, we are only meeting one player, but we don't know who that is yet."
So, it might be X player?
"I guess, but I doubt it. They never really have the big names do this."
Take my kid with you. You clearly run the camp.
"No, ma'am, I'm a team leader."
No, I know that camp they don't let adults be team leaders. You're lying.
Now, just so you know, I have always been very big for my age. At the time, I was 5'10 and 180 pounds, and even though I don't like bragging, I feel obligated to mention I was relatively muscular. I also act very mature for my age for reasons that I don't like to talk about. So I appear to her to be an adult. I tell her, "Well, I guess it's a good thing I'm not an adult." The mother, now getting agitated,
You're lying. You are at least 21. That water bottle probably has beer in it.
"Okay, now I've seen pictures of myself at 14, and I definitely don't look 21. Ma'am, I'm only 14. I will not be letting your child join us, as these children's parents have paid good money for them to have this experience. I will not let your child have the same experience for free simply because you are too dense to understand what I'm telling you in clear English. The camp charges $500 and she didn't speak English perfectly, so don't bother justifying her with that." Anyways, I brought the camp leader over to explain it to her, as I was worried that she would do the normal Karen thing and act like I hit her. We went inside and the kids had a great time. When we came out, guess who was waiting? That's right. Karen was back and with her husband, who was my height but was comparatively a twig. He said I had threatened his wife. He told me to pay for the therapy she would need for that, or he would make me pay. I didn't have the energy for this, so I asked my friend, another coach there, to help the kids on board so I could get away from this. He knew what was up and he was happy to, as he had nothing else to do. Still, not dumb people. The next day at camp she was there waiting for me. She had tracked me down to this camp I worked at, as we wear name tags and I have a unique name. She had called the man that runs everything and asked which one I worked at, saying that I had worked at another with her child and that he had taken a liking to me and wanted to say hi. At this point, I went to security at the minor league stadium and told him what was happening. She was banned from the minor league stadium and her child was banned from the camp for what she did. This is not going to be quite as dramatic as a few other posts, but this happened today and truly bugged me to no end. I go to a Zumba class once or twice every week. The center has many group workouts and this is just one of them. There were people of varying fitness levels and there has generally never been a problem. Until today. Enter Karen. Yoga pants 2 sizes too small, top extremely cut, and a bow on the head to boot. She unfortunately decided to stand directly before me and managed to sweat through her shirt during the warm-up. The second song started and she loudly demanded the trainer to slow down. The trainer was absolutely startled as nobody has ever spoken up before and politely explained that the movements were simplified already and gave her a few alternate movements. Well, that apparently wasn't good enough. Just as the trainer attempted to start the class, she stomped over and ripped the speakers connected to the phone, causing it to crash. She then got into the trainer's face, yelling she was being disrespected. Hearing the commotion, the manager came running over and tried to pacify her. No luck. She loudly demanded the instructor be changed, calling him incompetent. This is when the manager dropped his customer service attitude and asked her to leave. Well, that was apparently the wrong thing to say as she reeled back and slapped the manager in the face with the usual, "Do you know who I am?" Apparently nobody did and the members began forcing her to leave. My friend, knowing she would continue throwing a fit, grabbed her purse and ran outside. She told me later she continued running while the lady panted behind her. She then threw the purse where she could retrieve it and came back. The manager told me Karen is now permanently banned from the establishment. P.S. The gym has no security and the police in my country will not get involved in minor cases such as this. The crime rate is quite high where I live. So a while back I heard that a close friend of mine was talking bad behind my back about me. Let's call him Jerk. An example, I was dating a girl I've had kind of a crush on since high school. Everything was good, fun and romantic until he told her best friend something bad that I supposedly did, which was definitely a lie. But she believed it, so that's the end of that. He was also telling people I have no friends and everyone hangs out with me out of pity. Also a lie. Naturally, since I've known him for 10 years and considered him a close friend, I called him to ask what was up. He started acting real childish and literally repeated what I said in a funny voice. Needless to say, I got mad. He has a problem with drinking or something cause after like 2 beers he becomes the most annoying jerk you can think of. So me not inviting him meant we wouldn't see him anymore, so that's it. He would continue talking smack about me, like that I was stalking his girlfriend and stuff like that. But I kept ignoring him. But he just kept going. Fast forward 3 months, I've been ignoring him and not much was happening. Until one morning, I woke up and turned on my PS4 and saw in my notifications that I quit a whole list of chat groups and I accepted a friend request from that jerk while I had him blocked. So I already kinda knew what was going on. But for those of you that don't, he still had access to my PSN account since we used to share games. He logged into it, spewed out a whole bunch of bullcrap in the messages, then went back to his own account and proceeded to report me for them. Naturally, Sony looks into it, sees the offense and bans me. It started off with just a 2-day ban, then a week, then a month, and then a permanent ban. The thing is that if your account is banned, you can't access the PlayStation Store, which means you can't access your games. I knew it was him, since a notification telling me that I accepted his friend request, so at this point I am furious at him, and seriously about ready to kill him. I called Sony and they looked into it. After 3 weeks I finally heard back from them, confirming that this was indeed an irregular login and irregular behavior, so they unbanned me. And so my rage died down a bit, but I was still out for blood, so to speak. Fast forward another month or two and I'm just gaming when I get a message. Just some dude saying he once met me on Warframe and he needed some help on Dark Souls 3. I was in a helpful mood, so I went to help the guy. He had no mic, so we only talked in messages. Nothing weird. He asked me what I thought of the DLC, to which I replied, "It's dope, but it's pretty hard, bro." And lo and behold, it was a jerk on a different account, reporting me for saying the F word. So Sony banned my account again. I called him to explain it had to be sent to the moderators so I would hear back from them. I haven't heard from them in 2 months. All the while, I'm still hearing stories about the jerk spreading lies. And when I finally heard from Sony, they told me they warned me multiple times and now the ban is staying. This enraged me. I have never been so pissed off in my life. This dude for no reason decides to take away 10k worth of games from me. He doesn't even have the guts to tell me why he's doing it. So my initial plan, I'm going to find him and kick the living heck out of him. I told our group of friends and some didn't believe me since a screenshot of the notification wasn't proof in their eyes. So I was kinda going crazy. Well, we were in sort of a lockdown in the Netherlands. Well, at least then we were, so I couldn't find or run into him anywhere. Word spread that I was on a warbass, and he didn't show for a couple of get-togethers. I don't know if it's a coincidence or if he knew, but whatever. He wasn't there, I was fine with that. Fast forward another month, he broke up with his girlfriend. Fast forward another month, and he broke up with his girlfriend. And all of a sudden, she contacted me. Turns out, they broke up and within 4 days, he had a new girlfriend. So she was also mad and heard I was looking for him or his address. She had heard that and was happy to comply. I asked her about the whole situation and she confirmed it was indeed him. And then I remembered, don't you use his account to download his games? Turns out, she did. So we came up with a plan. That night, at around 2 AM she called me and said she was ready. I told some of my gaming buddies to be up as well if they are down for some revenge. And of course, they were. She logged in on the jerk's account. I unplugged the account and we proceeded to send me and my friends the most problematic things. Just everything awful on it. We had an hour or two of good fun coming up with the most screwed up stuff we could think of. It was true degeneracy. So of course, his account got permanently banned as well. This felt good because, well, I got my revenge. The payback was sweet, but still, I couldn't access my 400 plus games, so I wasn't completely over it. 2 months later, I got a magic email from Sony. After 2 months, they finally realized, oh, the previous warnings were indeed not really warnings, so here is your account back. So in the end, I have my account and all of my games. And the jerk has a banned account with 300 plus games on it he cannot access anymore. Screw you, jerk. It is. People keep asking why I give him access to my account anyway. So we used to be not best but very close friends. Games are expensive. A new title can easily cost you $70. So to remedy this, I gave him my account. And he gave me his. This way I could download games he already bought, and he could download games I already bought. Also, when a new game comes out, We split the bill since we are sharing our account anyway. I mean, Red Dead Redemption 2 on release date for 35 euros is not a bad deal. And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.